And shalom, shalom, fallen ashore. Welcome to the channel. I can't say I'm on the rock because I'm technically at Home Depot. I do pick up some things that I need to get some of these projects done. For this video, I wanted you all to know, for a lot of the new subscribers and those that are new to this walk, new to this faith, you have to understand that evil systems are always going to hate your self-autonomy. Evil systems hate your self-autonomy. And the reason they hate it is because they want you to be completely dependent on them. Just look at, systems around the world today. They want you to be dependent on them for your food. So they make rules to make growing your food more complicated, especially if you live on a reservation. They have these HOAs and they tell you can't plant here, you can't plant there. They make it difficult for you. They make seed sharing more difficult. How about producing your own chickens and goats, sheep, and cows? They make it difficult. They make it difficult for you to share your own milk that you get from your cows. They tell you that they know what's best for you. They want you to submit to their way of doing it. The same thing applies to this faith today. Wicked systems always want you dependent on them. You have to be dependent on them for the word. You have to be dependent on them to understand the word, to be able to walk it out. And if you dare go against their system, you dare go to an opposing way, they see you and they'll call you things like rebellious or all these different terms because they want you to get back in line. They want you to get back to the system. And if you look at it, the systems that these people create are always beneficial to them. You may benefit, but it's definitely not intentional. The only way for you to really benefit in these systems is for you to dive in deeper, to go in deeper. But you have to understand that the more you go in, the less self-autonomy you have. They'll call you selfish. They'll say whatever they possibly can to get you to just simply follow their system. So when I grow food, or I learn skills and I learn to come out to break myself away from these systems, I understand that I'm going to become more and more of an enemy of people that depend on the system. You remember this, the Matrix, when Morpheus was taking Neo into the Matrix and he's walking him through the streets and telling him about the people in the system, but then Neo looked at the woman in the red dress. And Morpheus was telling him that most of these people are dependent on the system. They're dependent on the Matrix for their happiness, for their self-worth. They're dependent on the Matrix for all these things. And today we have the same attitude. People are dependent on the systems, the wicked systems that are set up for everything. You can't understand the Bible unless you have these people in the system that are going to tell you what it says. Just like the slave masters did the slaves in slavery. They tell you you can't understand it. That you can't get what you need out of the book. That Yah won't open up your understanding when the book says that the fear of Yah is the beginning of understanding, the beginning of wisdom. They tell you, no, you need me. Because as you depend on them, you're going to depend on them first so they can give you everything or anything. Just like you see in today's food systems. They can put anything they want to in the food, and what are you going to say about it? Look at most of your great value tortilla chips or great value cereals. You'll see that they're made by bioengineered ingredients. They'll say has at least one bioengineered ingredient or has one bioengineered ingredient. Nobody cares because you don't read that. You don't read the ingredients anyways. You're just eating the food that they give you. You can't even pronounce half the stuff that's in the food, but you're willing to eat it because you assume that they must know what's best for you. So turn over your self-autonomy. Turn over your ability to think. Turn over your ability to walk. Turn over your ability to produce for yourself. Turn it all over. And the system, see, the way especially the wicked ones work, they want you to think that you're operating in your own self-autonomy, when in reality, they still have the thumb over you. Oh, they'll tell you, hey, you can grow some food, you just can't grow this sort of food. You can have a couple chickens in your backyard, but you can't have a whole flock in your backyard. You can have a goat, but you can't have 5 goats. You see how they give you the resemblance, they give you the idea, but in reality, they're giving you the choices. They're telling you, Democrat or Republican, pick one. So that when you say, well, I don't vote, and I'm not going to vote for either one of them, because I've never voted. Like, I've never voted. People look at you like, what do you mean? You're not playing along with the system? No. So then you get caught rebellious. And you just have to understand that's part of it. The name calling, the talking about you, the saying you're selfish, the saying that you're operating, you can say whatever they want to, but the reality of it is they want you under their thumb. They want you under their control and under their power. And when they do that, you're losing your self-autonomy. As a man, I'm talking to you men right now. You're losing your self-autonomy. You're trading in your self-autonomy for your part in the system. You believe that the system's good for you. You'll fight against one system while you acquiesce and give yourself to the next system. You'll fight against the system of well, I can't grow my own chickens, but you'll be completely content and completely happy going off and growing your, having them produce your own vegetables, telling you what organic is, telling you how you should live. School systems. Look at the school system today. Completely upside down and jacked up. Completely upside down. Teaching children all sorts of bullshit. But it's called a system. The court system. The religious system. And just because these people say, well, I'm not part of the religious system. Yes, they are. Because they still want your self-autonomy. And that's really what it is. We're going to teach your children what we want your children to know. We're going to give you what we want to feed you. We're going to give you the Bible based on what we say. When the book, all you have to do is just go back to the book plus nothing. Read the Bible. Live the Bible. And what you'll find out if you read the Bible and live the Bible is a lot of these systems, majority of these so-called systems that are set up out there are completely wicked. And you want to know if they're wicked? Start going after your self-autonomy as the Bible says. As the book says, we just had a stream on that in the Disturbers of Israel channel last Shabbat. Self-autonomy. Start going after it and watch how they kick against you. Watch how they get mad because you won't put into their system. Look at how they'll start talking about you. They'll start frothing at the mouth and doing everything they can to destroy your name because you won't acquiesce to the system that they have created. You won't assimilate to their system. Now, obviously, why is you assimilate to your husband's vision and his system? But man, you have self-autonomy. You assimilate to Yah's system. And Yah's system is not what you're seeing in these churches today. That's not Yah's system. That's people's system to keep you under control. The same way these people who are in these churches tell you that by submitting to them, you're obeying Yah. That's the same shit the slave master said to the slave. That's the same thing that this government says to its people. You ever heard of Romans 13? You ever heard that one preached in your traditional westernized Christian church? Well, the same way you hear that preached in a traditional westernized Christian church, you'll hear pastors use all sorts, Jeremiah 3:60, and I will give you pastor 3:15 today, and I'll give you pastors. And you'll hear them say that sort of shit. It's all about giving over your self-autonomy. They literally want you to submit to them. They literally want you on your knees in front of them. They want you to serve them. Don't rock the boat. Just get on the boat and row like a good little servant. And it got so bad now that men are completely happy turning it over. People are completely happy being plugged in to a wicked system, to the matrix. They're completely happy with it. And you can't free them. In fact, as Neo said, if you try to free a lot of these people that are part of these systems, they'll turn against you. That's why you have self-autonomy. You try to help those that want to be helped. You try to help those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear what the book is actually saying. But for everybody else, you have to understand, they are supposed to be plugged into the system. Remember, there's not many, there's a few. There's a few that open up their eyes to the systems that we see around us and unplug themselves. And you have to understand you're going to be labeled a rebel, especially by these so-called leaders in the world, in the church. They're going to call you rebellious. They're going to do whatever they can to blast you. Because you have your self-autonomy. I'm not saying you don't help each other. The Bible says to help each other. I'm not saying you don't fellowship with each other. The Bible says fellowship with each other. I'm not saying you don't meet together. The Bible says meet together. Train together. The Bible says to do these. The Bible says to do all those things. But it doesn't say give up your self-autonomy. In fact, if you actually read the Apocrypha, if you want to listen to the Disturbers of Israel stream that we just had. It's on the channel Disturbers of Israel. The link for the channel is in the description. They don't want you to be self-autonomous. They want you to trade it all in to get along with them, to be part of their system. Understand, in order to walk out this book, the Bible, in order to live a life that lines up with Yah's word, you're going to be labeled a rebel. In order to live a book that lines up with Yah's word, you have to have your self-autonomy. You have to. Otherwise, you might just find yourself being one of those Yehudim who are yelling to crucify Yahshua because your leaders told you to say that. You might just find yourself living a wicked life because your leaders told you to say that. You might just find yourself cheering when things are going upside down in people's life because your leaders told you to feel that way. It's okay to be a rebel. It's okay to rebel against wicked-ass systems and keep your self-autonomy as a man. Like I said before, because after all, when you go to judgment, the system's not going to be in judging with you. It's just going to be your ass and the king. Yeah, I thought I was serving you. Didn't I do these things in your name, Lord? Didn't I cast out demons? Didn't I do this? Didn't I do all these mighty works in your name? Depart from me, you work of iniquity. I don't know who you are. Let me get in here and get this stuff. Bless you. Shalom.